Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Laptop Refurbs, and today we'll be discussing the different preventative measures and precautions and safety tips that you ought to take when it comes to your laptop computers. Stay tuned. Now, when it comes to your laptop computers, there's obviously a few things that I feel that you should put in place in order to prolong the overall lifespan of your laptop computer. Now, you don't have to do this, but I would strongly advise you to, because obviously over time laptops and their components degrade over time, and eventually it will just cease to function depending on what the actual issue is, and also depending what type of hardware you're dealing with, and you'll have to replace your whole laptop. Now, what we're going to discuss and go through a list of a few things that you can put in place for yourself. Here and there you might need to spend an extra buck or so, but that will be money well spent if you really care about looking after your laptop computer. And obviously some of the things that we'll go through and discuss is a few things that you can put in place that actually will extend the lifespan of your laptop computer. And obviously that's the goal we are trying to reach with our computers today. You want to try and look after it as long as possible and have it not fail on you at the critical moments in your life. So obviously we all know we have a lot of data we store on a laptop computer, possibly maybe an external hard drive, which is one of the things we're going to discuss for some safety mechanisms when you want to put it in place as a storage solution for yourself to save on your data, especially if it's precious to you and it's priceless. So without further ado, let's just go down the list of things that we can put in place for ourselves. And bear in mind, once again, as I said, some of the things you might need to spend an extra buck or so in order to just put in place and save yourself from heartache in order to prevent yourself replacing your whole laptop, which will obviously cost you much more. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is obviously probably one of the most important, if not the most important in my opinion, is not placing your laptop directly on a bed surface area or a pillow or anything that can block the ventilation vents, causing it to overheat. Now, obviously laptops these days are designed that if it overheats, it will trigger a safety mechanism in the BIOS. It will just shut your laptop down in order to save the CPU from burning out and every other component that tends to overheat. If that is really, that's just worst case scenario. Well, not really worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is if your laptop just dies in the process of overheating over the course of time. But the point I'm trying to make is in these days, modern and standard laptops, especially the circuit board level, components are designed to sort of endure quite a lot when it comes to heat. And obviously it will not fail on you just like that. Over course of time, especially the CPU, the silicone, microscopic level, you've got transistors, encapsulated in that piece of silicone, and just over time with overheating, it will just degrade, and eventually you will one day just try and turn on your laptop and it will just not do anything, not so much as even pop your little LED light, and that's it. That's your CPU or your motherboard. Anything that is on capacitors or any component that will fail on your motherboard will probably be because of overheating. So that's one thing that you will try and put in place for yourself, is maybe do not put your laptop in a position where you block off of the air vents, because as you know, laptops are very crammed. The last thing you want to do is take away its main piece of safety in terms of blocking its ventilation. One other thing that you put into place is an external keyboard and external mouse. You don't have to go all out, maybe just a cheap one really, but just one that suits your needs and suits your comfortability in terms of prolonging the internal keyboard and touchpad of your laptop. Obviously, laptop internal peripherals is very delicate, and over time with dust accumulating on it, I'm not going to say this out loud, but sweaty hands at that regard can cause a lot of surface area where the internal keyboard suffers quite a lot when it comes to just, I wouldn't say human negligence, but just normal use. And you try to prolong your internal components as long as possible. This is one other way that you can prolong the lifespan of your internal keyboard and touchpad, by using an external mouse and keyboard, where you can just sort of, especially when you're at home, you're not doing much, you're just doing general activities, browsing the internet, you're watching YouTube videos, watching this video, and you know, especially if you're mobile, I wouldn't expect you to bulk up and drag your external keyboard and mouse along. Maybe just the mouse, especially if you these days, some people are not used to using the touchpad all the way, and then at least that's one way of protecting and maybe just prolonging the actual lifespan of some of your peripherals when it comes to your laptop computers. The next thing you want to do is avoid quick movements and bumps and jerks when it comes to your laptop. Obviously, it's a laptop and you don't want to cause any premature damage, especially when it comes to your hard drive, because that's the one device that's prone and susceptible to the most damage if you maybe drop your laptop by accident or bang it or push it or whatever the case may be. And just to make an example, this is a 2.5-inch SATA mechanical hard drive, especially when it comes to these kind of hard drives. This I want to actually open it because this is dead, so that's the reason I open it up. But you'll notice that there's an actuator arm that's missing here. I took it out, but it's mechanically and magnetically driven when it comes to the hard drive and reading and writing data to the actual spinning platter of the hard drive. And obviously, think for yourself, it's a mechanical drive, it's not solid state where there's no moving parts. If you bang your hard drive, your laptop, and you're negligent in terms of taking care of it, in terms of moving it around, you're gonna sit with problems very quickly, especially when it comes to your hard drive. Over time, it will not be a big thing. It will maybe just cause a little scratching damages microscopically. It will start to accumulate over time, because the one thing that's happening on a hard drive such as this is that one scratch leads to another, where at the end of the day you will sit with bad sectors. You're going to have a whole lot of errors and blue screens of deaths in your face. It's just going to cause a snowball effect, all because of a few bumps and bruises you sort of cause for your laptop. And that's the one thing we're trying to do. But in general, don't bump or drop your key or your laptop. So don't drop or bang your laptop unnecessarily, and try and just obviously look after it in that sense. I think that's obvious. And what you also want to do is take care of your screen hinges. Maybe this is one thing that we do not take care of as often. You just generally do this and that and this and that, and at the end of the day, you're going to sit with problems, because yes, the hinges are made of metallic material, but at the end of the day, it's mounted to plastic material that keeps it in place. And if you're not cautious and careful enough, over time, by just opening up the lid and closing it and just going on like crazy, yes, in time it will sort of find a weak spot somewhere in that mounting. It will just purely break off, and then you sit with a huge problem when now have no mounting for your actual screen lid, and you're stuck with a laptop that you now have to try and fix in order to just safeguard the capacity of your screen. Nevertheless, you will sit with problems regardless of that scenario. So try and just, when you utilize your laptop lid, there's a certain amount, yourself, and the amount of force that you as a human being sort of exert on your equipment. You will try and just open it up slowly, close it slowly, and do what you need to do in order to store it, or whatever the case may be, wherever you find yourself. That's just one thing I feel that's also very important. One other thing you can also do is maybe put a screensaver, and I'm not talking about your Windows pipes and bubbles flying around when your laptop tends to go in a little time saver mode. It's just, I'm talking about an actual piece of material that you can buy, or a pouch even, that you can slide over the screen part of your laptop, and when you close it down, the actual LED or LCD screen is protected from scratches and dust and all that. When you travel, especially when you travel, you do get times where you have your laptop absorbing some certain amounts of shock. If you sort of find yourself packing it away, whatever the case may be, it's just another way of, in my opinion, really, it's regarded as something that these days laptops are designed that the screens are very much protected. There's a certain amount of distance between the keys and the actual screen. It's just another layer that you want to feel safe when you put your laptop or store your laptop away, especially when you travel, and prevent any unnecessary damage or scratches when it comes to your LCD display, which are permanent, you cannot fix. It's just another headache that you feel that you do not want to deal with when it comes to your laptop computer. Another important thing that I feel that goes along with the first point that I mentioned when it comes to the overheating part of your laptop is to shut it down when you're done with it. Obviously, if you're done with it, you don't want to have it standing around like that and just running. There's no problem in terms of that doing it away, but obviously you want to put it off when you pack it away. Do not leave your computer on, put it in your bag or anything like that, because it will overheat and it will die, to be honest with you. So the best thing to try and do is to ascertain the scenario you find yourself in when it comes to the different activities you are doing on your laptop. You are browsing around a certain task or project you're probably working on, and you don't want to end up closing everything by shutting the laptop down. Another option is to hibernate it. So you can just literally hibernate it. That saves all those tasks in the Windows operating system back onto your hard drive, and when you power it back on again, it will just try and reload that last activity point, back up everything to the point where you had dealing with your projects, which is a great way of actually dealing with your laptop computer. We'll just turn off the components, nothing will run. It's just in a dormant state where if you put it on again, you are back up and running in no time. In some instances it takes a little longer to boot, but it's just because it boots from the last point that you saved your information. By choosing the hibernate option, at least you don't have to shut your computer down and obviously reopen up all the different software programs that you had open in the first place, and that's just saving you some time on that one. So obviously when you shut it down or opt for the hibernate option is to make sure that everything is actually turned off by checking for any LEDs, maybe listening to the internal CPU fan. If your laptop has an active cooling system, if it does have a passive where it's just cool with a heatsink, maybe listen to the hard drive. The hard drive will also, another audible sound effect, you can hear it spinning, will also turn off. And make sure that everything is turned off at the point before you put it in your carry bag or anything like that, or store it away. Because I can guarantee you, if everything is still on and your vents are blocked where you put it away, it's going to cause overheating and it's going to cause problems, for obvious reasons. You can also try and opt to adjust your power options, maybe your power plans on your laptop. If you know how to do it, it's actually very easy by going to the battery option, right-clicking on it and clicking power options. And then from there you can configure different settings. It's actually very user-friendly, where if you maybe are away from your laptop for a certain amount of time, no matter what the situation is, your laptop is at least configured in a certain way. There's where it's plugged into your power bank option, or whereas it's just on a battery life option, and you can configure it to just dim the display, or even just put it on standby mode. It will hibernate, it will save anything that you had open running. At the time when you return to your laptop, you just click the power button again and it will power back up to the point it was. It's just another way for the laptop to just stay alive as long as possible over the course of the years that you're actually using it. So power options is another safety mechanism that you can use to prolong the actual lifespan of your laptop components, no matter what it is. Very, very important. Another thing is also, over time, laptops are not subject to decent and periodic maintenance. By referring to a technician such as myself, in order to do that maintenance, is to check the air vents. Check the air vents. Over time, it will accumulate dust, it will start blocking, and obviously over time's usage, you now have a laptop that's full of dust, that's blocking actual ventilation and circulation and airflow to your actual components. That's going to cause a problem. And now, coupled with the fact that you're still using your laptop, putting it on surfaces that potentially blocks the air vents, causing it to overheat even more, and that's going to definitely cause problems. So what you want to do is just inspect the air vents. Over time, if there is dust, you can buy certain kits to actually just clean it while it's closed. There's anti-static vacuums that you can also buy. Look, if you're really into that thing, I do not charge a lot if you do opt to render services on it, in order to just open it up, clean it, and put everything back together. It's just your peace of mind. You will spend a certain amount of buck in order to keep it clean, keep it safe, and keep it working extensively over the course of its time, rather than having that kind of pain, as I've mentioned numerous times before, where you sit with a dead laptop and you have to replace the whole laptop. So coupled with that fact, you can actually just opt in buying yourself a laptop cooling pad. I mean, it's just not expensive these days. It has, depending on the design, this particular one has two large fans. I think it's 120mm fans. and it is USB powered, where you just plug it into a USB port on your laptop, and this specific one actually has a male and female USB, so that if you plug it in, you can still use that port in order to plug in a flash drive, and it's USB 3.0. So I mean, still, you know, this is a very good investment as well to deal with that overheating factors when it comes to your laptop computer. And this is actually nice, where you can actually put this specific one on your lap, where you don't have to put your laptop on your lap to block circulation. But obviously, do not do this and put it on the bed as well. It will still restrict some certain amount of airflow, because now obviously this becomes the weak spot, where if you put this on a surface that's blocking its ventilation, blocking in turn the ventilation of the actual laptop from air getting to the internal components. But this is a very, very nice way. This is actually an elevated one, so you can actually, you know, set the arc of it depending on how you want to have your laptop, or your ergonomic way of doing things, especially you have your neck and back problems. I mean, it's in your best interest to just buy, or, you know, invest in a little more when it comes to laptop computer, in order to stay safe, prolong its activity, you know, and you're not dealing with the fact that you're killing your back over time, and your neck, and possibly something else. More importantly, when it comes to plugged-in devices, try and unplug unnecessary ports, cables, devices, especially the power bank of your laptop. For obvious reasons, is to try and eliminate any other potential damage you might cause to the internal ports or components of your motherboard. Over time, you know, you do not obviously want to, when you store it away or travel, leave anything such as a mouse sensor or anything like that. I mean, it's easy to snag it and break it and buy something new. I mean, you're just causing more damage for yourself and more potential money that you have to spend, which is unnecessary, where you could have just implemented the actual safety mechanisms in order to protect your devices. So now, when it comes to your charger especially, do not leave your laptop plugged into your charger overnight, because that's one cause for concern that actually end up causing your house to burn down. Well, adding to the fact that these days batteries are designed very safely in terms of, you know, it will not tend to overcharge, but it is a cause for concern because it's still plugged in. You're not using it, so why would you leave it plugged in? So, you know, just don't do it. Another thing which is very important, I would say, clean your laptop regularly. I mean, we're all human, so hygienically I feel that we also would like to, you know, much as we try and keep our house clean, we would tend to just keep our laptops clean as well. I mean, you're using it, dust accumulates, sweat accumulates, all amounts of human craziness accumulates on the laptop, and you don't want to deal with the fact that you now have to clean it once a year or so. I mean, I would suggest do it weekly. I mean, that's what I do. So at least you want to try and keep things clean, spotless, and have your laptop perform optimally for that regard. I mean, it's a device. It's gonna fail eventually. You don't want to have it fail too early and buy a new laptop because it's dead at the end of the day because of not cleaning it regularly. I don't think I should mention anything else out. Some security features that I feel you can maybe enable, two things really. Very basic is maybe password protect your computer. I mean, you are at home, and these points are mostly directed for the fact that you are at home, so why would you need a password? I mean, you have your family around, so nothing is a secret, right? But anyway, password protected, it's not going to hurt. I mean, you have kids playing around. I mean, now and again, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old daughter, don't even ask me, will jump on the desk and just bang away on the keys. At least if you password protect your laptop, you can just hit the Windows key plus the L key, and it will just lock your screen while you're away. And at least when your kids are playing around, moving the mouse about, it will not open up your laptop to havoc and causing you to sort of reset everything and contacting people like me to help you to sort of resolve that issue. But it's just another way of keeping things safe. And another thing I would say, suggest on a basic level, is get a decent antivirus, please. You do not want to end up browsing, surfing the internet, and you're not even clicking things away. It just happens automatically. Sometimes you get to a malicious website that you're not even aware it's malicious, and it will automatically download or add malware to your laptop without you even knowing it. And these days you get sophisticated malware that will just execute on its own, requiring no human intervention at all, and you are sitting with a laptop that's infested with viruses and malware, all because you didn't have an antivirus in the first place. So try and buy a antivirus license. I do licensing of these software. You're gonna have to obviously purchase a separate license, and I can activate for you. I can install one for you, and some of the reputable brands that I know of, that I personally use, and you can just rest assured that everything is safe while you're at home, especially while you're at home, and especially while you're dealing with your personal things when it comes to laptop computers, bank accounts. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because that's probably one of the most important things when it comes to laptop computers. You want to browse the internet and do your banking counting and stuff like that while you don't have an antivirus. And then lastly, I think the most important, probably, all of these things are important, but I feel as a backup solution, implement a backup solution. I believe it's just safeguarding your data. So one way that you can do it is just buy yourself an external hard drive. I mean, it's not going to cost you a lot in terms of costing much more if you end up losing your data, if your internal hard drive fails on you and you didn't have a backup solution. So the simplest way that you can actually do it is that, Windows has a built-in backup and restore option where you can just plug in an external hard drive and set it on a schedule, and it will run a schedule based on how you set it, a daily, weekly, monthly, depends on your scenario and how cluttered you want to have your hard drive with data every time it backs up. So now, you can, there's so many things you can implement, and that's one, at least home-based use, I find that you can sort of implement for yourself. I mean, more extensively, you would opt to get a RAID array set up for yourself where it's multiple hard drive and striping with mirrors and all that kind of jazz, but that's just one way of dealing with a home-based storage server that you can set up for yourself in order to protect your data over time, and it's just running on a schedule and just backing up your data based on that schedule, and you're keeping safe with the data, not losing anything. So should your internal hard drive fail on you and you've got priceless amounts of data on it, photos, videos, whatever the case may be, you're not sitting with the fact that you've lost basically your whole life. And one other thing associated with that also, if you do want to couple your storage solution with a schedule, there's another way that you can also do a system image. Windows has a built-in system image function. What a system image is, it is a backup solution that will back up the entirety of your hard drive. And not just data, it's your boot sector, the whole boot load, everything that's associated with the system reserved and everything that's part of your whole operating system. It will literally just scan that whole hard drive, any hidden partitions you have set up on it. It's essentially a clone of your hard drive, but it's a Windows-based system image that you can have offline on a external storage device, so that if something goes wrong, system related with your hard drive, and it dies on you, you can have your recent backup that you have had made, or of that system image, you can just restore everything as though nothing has happened. I think that's the one important thing that you want to do when it comes to your laptop, is back up with a system image, and you can be up and running in no time should your internal hard drive fail. I think I might be going to worst case scenario by mentioning a few things that I've already mentioned when it comes to laptop computers. It's just it's things we are trying to do to try and safeguard the performance and the overall output of your laptop computer, to not have it fail prematurely on you. That's the goal I'm trying to reach. So no, you won't burn your house down if you're not negligent with it, but I'm just trying to express certain things. Although, be it, I have actually watched a video where someone had left their laptop plugged in overnight and it caused a fire. The laptop actually exploded. But I guess that's a situation where that battery must have been in such a state where it's been used like that over time, quite periodically. So, but nevertheless, you're just trying to reach a goal where you just do not want to cause unnecessary things, that you just, you want to be as safe as possible and take every precaution necessary to protect your laptop computer, rather than spending the unnecessary amounts of money that you are going to spend if you do not follow some of the things that I've mentioned. So try and follow it. And if there is anything else that you feel I should have mentioned, that I have missed, you just comment down in the section below, and just, anything that you are doing, giving me some ideas that I can use. I mean, I'm just doing what I do, but I'm just sharing with you what you can do potentially as well. So if there is anything else that you feel that I've missed, you can just comment down in the section below. And also please subscribe to this video, and if you did like it, it will help me immensely, and I would very much appreciate it if you can just subscribe to my channel. It will help me in the further growth of my business in order for me to bring you more content such as this. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. Have a blessed day and evening. Stay safe.